Hey guys, Maxman RC here. As you guys might remember yesterday, we went ahead and we unboxed that weird crawler tank thing, which for some odd reason the box says it's a drifting tank. I'm not even. We're just gonna go over that fact, okay? Anyway, so we went ahead today. We took it out for our spin. I'm gonna upload the videos to YouTube probably tonight or tomorrow morning, or sometime tomorrow, I should say. And let me just say, I am actually decently impressed with the way that this thing handled, the way that this thing worked. So, as you guys remember, this tank that I'm talking about, it's actually, I'm actually really impressed with it. It held its own. It went through the snow. We have about 3 or 4 inches of snow outside right now. It went through that snow like there's no problem at all whatsoever. It was. It worked perfectly fine. Absolutely no issues. It actually did better than my crawlers did, and the crawlers are actually hobby grade. This guy, I really don't consider it hobby grade that much, but nevertheless, the fact that this thing actually handled everything was impressive. I'm actually extremely impressed with the way that this thing handled itself outside in the snow, especially in that kind of soft snow. And I really suggest getting this if you're looking for something out there, something strange, something fun, or if you just want to give something that's not a lot of money to somebody, as a gift. Maybe it's a starter RC or something. This actually is gonna be a good way uh, to get them started into it. It's definitely unique, to say the least. Overall, like I said, it handled perfectly. The suspension on this guy, it does have a decent suspension on it. Hold on. There you go. See that? It does have decent suspension built onto it. Obviously, it's not like high grade suspension. It's more of what would you call this? Friction suspension. These are not oil filled shocks at all whatsoever. But I have absolutely no qualms with this whatsoever at all. The drive motors, I realized that are actually the two rear wheels. These two real cogs. What else is there to say? I mean, this guy is actually worth it. It is worth the $80 I believe I paid for this guy. It's worth every penny. The one thing I did not like though is the battery life and the way that the battery charges and the battery connector. But the battery connector is usually just it's just personal to to the owner. To me, anything under 2S or anything like that, I like 2S and under. I like having Dean's T style plugs. Anything over that, I usually go with IC5 straight up. I don't like anything really in between, like the IC3s, the IC2s, or anything like that. This guy, I believe, I think this one's called a Tamiya plug, Tamiya Junior plug. I could be completely wrong, so if I'm wrong, just in the comments down there. So what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm actually gonna go ahead and get an adapter for these guys, because I really don't feel like going into this. There's not a lot of space to work on this guy on the bottom, so that to change the connector, I usually end up changing the connectors to a Dean's. But the way that this thing is set up, and the way that even if I take off the tracks, the way that the wheels are in the way, it's just too much of a hassle to go on ahead and swap this out to my Dean's. So what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna look for a plug it in, look for an adapter to turn this into a Dean's, and then we're gonna see if maybe this guy will survive on a 2S battery. It definitely has the space for the battery. It goes from here all the way up to here. So the battery sizing will not be an issue with this guy. Obviously, it won't take any full size batteries. But from there on out, this is basically a helicopter battery, so it shouldn't be an issue. I have a ton of those guys, and but honestly, the battery itself is the only downside to this whole ordeal. From there on out, honestly, this guy is actually really decent. Like I said, it outdid my crawlers in that snow. My crawlers would just get stuck and bogged down. They wouldn't go anywhere. This guy, obviously, it's because of the tracks. It would just, like, there'd be no problem whatsoever. For under $80, definitely suggested. Obviously, don't quote me on the price. It could go up. It could come down the way everything is nowadays. The other thing, as y'all remember, it does have built-in LEDs on the top. Unfortunately, none of the other lights are actually working lights. But again, we can't really, fault it too much. Overall, great little RC. Fun to bash around. I'm definitely gonna end up keeping this one. This one's actually gonna be part of the collection, and we're gonna see if we upgrade it later on in life. The first thing I want to see is if I can find metal tracks for this guy. I think that'd be pretty interesting. But the way it is, honestly, I think I'm just gonna keep it as is. I really don't see any point in doing any upgrades to this thing at the time being. So went ahead, took off one of the tracks just to show you guys real quickly. The drive wheels, like I mentioned, are actually the rear wheels. You can see actually the cog where the track itself goes into it. Everything else, they're just dead axles basically. And yeah, this is actually metal suspension in the front. The front is actually a metal suspension, and this actually works more just to keep it nice and tight. So I can't get enough of this thing. This thing is definitely worth it. It's definitely worth the money, and honestly, I'm very happy with this guy. And if you get it yourself, I can assure you very much that you'll probably end up enjoying it as well. If not for you, maybe for a younger kid, they would definitely enjoy having something like this. I do believe they can fit regular, I want to say maybe 2-inch, 3-inch G.I. Joes in here. And it does come in two colors. I went ahead and decided on the white one, but it does come in a more of gunmetal gray as well. So this was a quick review on this guy. We'll see how it does in a couple of months. We'll see if it's still up and running, and I'll give you guys some updates on the batteries and see if it can run on lipos as is without having to upgrade anything, because I really don't feel like upgrading this thing. I don't even think it would be possible to, which is where the toy grade part comes into this thing. So overall, goodbye. Really fun RC, and definitely worth the money. I definitely suggest this to anybody that wants to start off, or that just wants to start off crawling, or just for fun, just a little new thing to have in the collection. Anyway, this was Maxman with this crawler tank mix kind of thing, and keep an eye out for the video, because I will be uploading the video of this guy bashing in the snow. Maxman RC out, and I hope you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and have a good night. Technical difficulties, and we are out.